Hey guys, we're back. This is You Up with Nikki Glazer. What up, dog pack?
Squirt Nation. Woof woof.
Bark bark.
Hell yeah.
We're back with comedian Nick Mullen is in studio. Hey Nick, how's it going?
Hello. What's dog pack?
It's like what we call our listenership.
Did you crowdsource that, or did you put that?
A little bit. We just started
Not really.
saying it.
We started saying it, and we're kind of like thrusting it.
I feel like
on
that's got to be in use already.
Oh, of course.
There's no way dog pack is a take.
Oh, now it's
I think
ours.
Caesar Milan uses it for like his actual
Yeah,
dog
Edison
pack.
did that when he invented the radio. The people listening to the first radio were the dog pack.
We also tried out Squirt Nation.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, which is like the female version of Come Town.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there you
yeah.
go.
Come Town is your podcast.
Shout out to squirters out there.
Yeah, all the squirters listening. Anyone
Tom,
can
you
do
squirt?
it, by the way.
You squirter?
Oh, I'm a big squirter.
Yeah.
That's the only way I know how to finish.
Nice. You ever squirt?
Oh, no.
That's where you
Is that-
try to fart, but you squirt by accident. So you accidentally.
We're off. Anyone can squirt, apparently.
I've heard this,
Yeah.
but I don't know if that's true.
No, they say anyone can do it because some girls like do it and they go like, "Oh my god, what was that?" Like I've had friends that go like, "I didn't mean to."
I feel like women always react that way, even if they know that they do it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it's like the jury's still out on whether or not it's piss. So to play it safe-
Right. The jury's
That's
not
true.
out. It is.
Yeah.
It is. Because I have done a lot of research on it, and every instructional video, which is always done like it's always on porn sites.
Yeah.
And it'll always be like a doctor showing you how, and the girl's like on a doctor bed, whatever they're called, doctor bed,
Yeah.
on a gurney
They're
with
called
like
squirting
in
bed.
stirrups, squirting bed, and that sounds like something from Handmaid's Tale. But the doctor always and he always has like a neck tattoo, like he's not like he's definitely a porn star, and they're always like, you're gonna feel like you have to pee, and then just let it go,
Yeah.
and that's
That's
peeing.
just peeing. Yeah.
That's what I do when I
Maybe
pee.
it might be the same muscle that controls whatever's being released, but so half the time you piss because you think you're gonna. It literally is like sharding. I'm not trying to
What do
call
you
back
mean?
to what I said because it's the same muscle
Right.
that controls both things. So
okay, so maybe
like
there's something to that.
like sometimes you're like, oh, I have this pressure. I'm going to release it. Sometimes it's a fart. Sometimes you shit yourself.
Oh yeah.
So squirting, same thing.
That definitely happens.
Sometimes I'm going to ejaculate. Sometimes, oops, I pissed the bed.
They kind of feel.
Right.
I mean, coming and peeing. I remember the first time I
Really?
had an org. I kept thinking I had to pee.
Oh,
I kept
really?
running to the bathroom and be like, shit, I gotta.
And here we are,
So
2
that's
weeks
like
later.
Yeah. Yeah. And when
Still incontinent.
when I finally
Still has
do
never
finish,
come.
yeah, it's gonna feel so good.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's pee. But it's like, why can't they trace where the liquid comes from? Like, I don't understand why this
Yeah.
is a mystery.
Well, here's the trick: eat some asparagus, then try to squirt, and if it smells like
I
asparagus,
ate
that's
so
your
much
fucking
asparagus
answer.
last night. I don't get asparagus pee.
Oh,
Really?
really?
Like, my friend gave me all his asparagus because he was like, I like want to throw up when I pee. because
Literally
it smells
every
so bad.
time I forget and I think I'm dying.
Yeah,
when I
it's
go
so
to
bad.
bed.
What is it? Is it a different color? It just smells.
It smells bad. It smells really bad, and then it sort of smells like asparagus, and you're like, oh right, it's not cancer.
Okay,
Right.
Do you eat beets?
I've had that too. I made like a beet puree a couple months ago.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh, this is what I get. I start juicing and I get colon cancer.
Yeah, every time I'm like, my period's early because that's usually, it's like a mix.
Yeah. Well, they still don't know whether period is like menses or beet juice. They don't really pay much attention to women's bodies, so they don't. These are low
These
on the
beets
list.
weren't processed at all. It just came out
Yeah.
exactly as.
We'll figure that out after we cure balding.
That is the thing. It's like women are like dumping water on guys during an orgasm, and we're just like, we don't really know what
Yeah,
it is. We'll
and
get
who
to
gives
it.
A shit, you know?
We just had a woman in here who was like a confidence coach. Her name was Heather Monahan, and it reminded me of this. I saw like some quote that Kate Upton put on her Instagram last night that was just like, find a way to make your flaws work for you. And like, I'm so annoyed by it.
What does that mean? Like start like a white supremacist YouTube channel and start making money off your racism?
It's just like these girls that go like, Oh my
I
God!
got
Just like
banned from Pier
embrace.
1 for using the N-word, but now I make millions of dollars on YouTube.
Embrace your flaws. What was this quote? Confidence is owning your imperfections. And I'm sorry, but her imperfections are like, my boobs are too big.
Yeah.
Like
That is a problem for
Yeah.
some women, Nikki.
I know it is. I know it is.
Their
Well,
backs hurt.
good news is they're just filled with piss. We found that out. So, yeah, I don't know. I used to get so annoyed. I didn't have internet, and I was like making money like freelance writing, and I would have to go to Dunkin' Donuts in the morning and use their like slow internet to
That's like
send off my assignments or
Yeah.
whatever, and they would play on loop 24 hours a day that John Legend, All of You.
Oh
Mhm.
boy,
Yeah.
I that song.
And it's just annoying because it's like, the song's about Chrissy Teigen.
Yes.
So it's like all of your perfect imperfections, it's like all of her imperfections.
I
your-
love that you said that because I used to think the same thing about that song. All
Yeah.
your perfect imperfections,
Right.
which by the way,
He's making it sound like she has a cleft lip
I,
and she's not a Sports Illustrated model. Yeah, what a hero you are for overcoming disgusting Chrissy Teigen's
that's
body.
so funny because you're right. Like it, and I used to think that song. If I was a woman and a guy was singing that to me, I'd be like, wait, so like what imperfections?
Yeah.
What, I'm sorry, like what exactly? You could tell that she was probably like, namely, what are you talking about when you wrote that lyric?
Right, yeah. Loving people's imperfections is just a way of like congratulating yourself.
Yeah.
It's not really a compliment in any way.
It isn't. That's interesting. I'm just like, do you get triggered by people on social media like bragging? Do you like care about it? You don't seem like someone who
No, not really.
doesn't.
Are you still? You're like off social media now, right?
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah, just Instagram, which
Yeah.
is like the purest form of Instagram's the best.
It is the best, but it's also like I'm so tired of people like posting about their runs
Yeah.
or like their.
I'm never exposed
diets.
to that. I've seen
You
that,
just not
I've seen
follow
that
those people?
criticism of social media. It's like people say, "Oh, this is just, this is people like branding themselves or putting,
Yeah.
their best, version of themselves forward." But no one that I follow does that.
Right.
It's like, maybe some food here and there, but
Yeah.
look
I
at
don't
this
mind the
dog I
food.
saw. Here's my niece. It's
I like
not-
that stuff. I just don't like what you're talking. Like it's the selfies at the gym. It's like, what are we doing this for? You're a comedian.
Remember when?
Yes.
You guys know Bergstrom?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was great. He got cancer and then he almost died. And
Eric
then,
Bergstrom,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And then he was going to the gym and like, he's like, I beat the cancer. He's in the gym and like the first couple of gym selfies, they're just getting a bunch of likes, and then it like went way too far beyond like, okay, you don't have cancer anymore. So, just watching the likes diminish as he went from cancer survivor to just regular gym assholes.
I just can't. I can't stand hot girls posting pictures where they look hot and pretending like it's about something else.
Yeah.
I can't
It's
deal with
the
it.
tag where it's like something.
I've done it too.
I like looked
I'm
some
not
up
gonna
just
lie.
now, but I don't want to read the captions.
What?
I can't read them because then they'll know
because
who
then
they
you'll
are.
know. Yeah. But it's just it just grosses me out. But the thing is, it works. Like here's the thing: when comedians post like, I sold out 6
Oh
shows.
yeah.
It's like no one needs to know that because they're sold out. You're not selling any more
Also,
tickets.
you were opening. Shut up. Like you weren't even in the
Yes.
headline. Like I've seen people do that where they're
But it
featuring. It's
works.
like you didn't even do anything.
It works to brag because people are stupid and they fall for it and they go, "Oh, that person's successful
Yeah.
because they told me that they are," and then they get more things.
It doesn't work though, right? For comedians, because comedians only have other comedian friends. So I don't understand why anyone promotes shows on Facebook.
Yeah.
Because like, who's going to that?
Right.
You think I'm not gonna go to my friend's show?
But people have like fans on Facebook.
The comedians posting shows that don't have fans to comedians posting shows that do have fans ratio is like 10 million to 1.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, that's a good point. I saw you perform the other night, and I just want to give you some topics to go off on because I
think you would
really.
say I give you some notes.
Oh God, no.
Be better.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on I, Tanya?
My thoughts?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
Can we just go through
just
the
do the-
movies?
do
Yeah.
the bit.
No, don't do the bit. Okay. I'll set you up.
Did you see I, Tanya?
I didn't.
You didn't see it.
I didn't see it yet.
Did you see it?
I didn't
Should
like
I see it? Tom and I were talking.
Let's
I
get
saw
Roland
the 30
in
for
here.
30.
Did Roland see it? We'll have
Roland had to have seen
Noah,
it.
Yeah.
did you see it? Our producer.
Really?
How did no one
This was
see
so big.
this?
I had to go to the theater 3 times because it was sold out every time.
Yeah, I
went
felt
to
like
go see
everyone saw it. I finally saw it, and I'm like, okay, I saw the movie that everyone saw, and I brought it up on stage. It's like numerous times I've said, "Have you guys seen I, Tonya?" And no one's seen it.
Really?
That's
Some people don't
insane.
even know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Really?
I had
Yeah.
that with Black Panther. I've been asking people if they've seen Black Panther, and like 5 people, and I'm like, how the fuck is it sold out every
well, you
time
can't
I
see
go?
their hands.
What's that?
You gotta bring a flashlight when you ask that question.
I just really enjoyed watching the Academy Awards with you the other night because, like, we both saw the Phantom Thread and you hated it.
Yeah, well, I didn't hate it. I
Like,
just didn't
why
like
did you
it.
hate? Why didn't you like it?
I don't know. It's like a 2.5 hour movie about a
It was
toxic
not
relationship. I don't. It just didn't. I don't care for it.
And okay, so that was
It's
it.
also
It was
I
boring.
don't understand what P.T. Anderson is doing most of the time. Like
Okay.
I watch his movies and like I'll enjoy them, but I don't know why sometimes. Like There Will Be Blood, I thought was great. You know,
I haven't seen it.
Boogie Nights is great.
Yeah, I just saw that for the first
The
time.
Master.
I lost my virginity to that movie.
Really?
And
You
didn't
stuck the
finish it.
DVD in your vagina.
Yeah,
Nice.
it hurt a lot.
Was it? Did
I was
the?
squirting blood.
Is it weird when Mark Wahlberg pulls his dick out in that movie to be having like were you having sex during that part?
I think it happened right before that.
Oh, okay.
Does that
nice.
happen early in the movie?
No, that's like the very end.
Oh yeah, we didn't make
Which
it
I've been
that
saying.
far.
I think every movie should do that.
Yeah.
Like at the end, the
That's
main
also how
character should-
Patriots Day ends.
Is that Mel
He
Gibson?
just beats off to himself in the mirror. He's like, I told you I'd stop this bombing. I didn't see Patriots Day.
Yeah, but that's
Patriots
how
Day
it
is the
ends. You
Mark
got it.
Wahlberg Boston bombing.
That's right.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was thinking
Which-
it was the Patriot.
I was thinking of
is
the Patriot
Yeah,
also.
no.
The Mel
Yeah.
Gibson.
Yeah.
Okay.
Patriots Day, which they release movies in different countries
Mhm.
under different titles,
Yeah.
so they don't translate. Like one of them is great is like Puss in Boots, that like Shrek
Yeah, yeah.
spinoff was released in Israel as Shrek's cat. 'Cause they don't have Puss in Boots as a
Yeah.
story. But
That would
Patriots
have
Day,
been way better.
yeah, Puss in-
Shrek's
or,
cat.
Don't make us say puss.
Yeah.
And
No one
when we
needs
get our
puss.
tickets.
make the Israelis say
Yeah.
on our behalf. Patriots Day was released in Germany as just Boston. That was- which is the perfect Mark Wahlberg movie.
yeah. He's just calling people racial slurs and
Uh-huh.
stuff, beating up Asians.
Well,
Did you like I, Tanya?
yeah, I enjoyed it. Yeah.
Isn't it just her? Didn't you didn't see it, Tom?
No, I saw it. I didn't like it.
You
only
said it was
because
just her getting beat up.
her-
the
she
whole
gets
time.
the shit. It's like seeing the 30 for 30 if you wanted to see her get the shit kicked out of her the whole
It's
time.
also I've heard that it's like wildly inaccurate.
Yeah, that's the other thing I didn't like about it is they do that thing where they're like, she's telling the story and she's like, this didn't happen, and
Yeah.
then she shoots a gun and it's like too cute of a wink to the camera to me.
Well, there's more than that. Like apparently that scene in the courtroom where she was like crying or whatever. She's like, "You can't take ice skating away from me." Like that never happened. And
Yeah.
they were like, "Yeah, you don't have to go to jail. You just don't have to figure skate again." She was like, "Thank God."
She's like,
You know?
yeah.
Which I understand. A certain amount of drama is necessary to turn it into a movie.
Sure.
But it like after like Serial and Making a Murderer, now anything that's like a true crime thing where they're
Mhm.
like, actually they didn't do it is like kind of suspect.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
I mean the O.J. Simpson show. Like
Yeah.
so much of that didn't happen. Where
Yeah.
the guy like faints in the courtroom.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
That didn't happen.
And Ross like wasn't even there.
Yeah.
He wasn't even
Yeah, he
part
was
of the real
He was
story.
auditioning for Friends the entire time. Jews.
God,
you, Jews.
I've been falling asleep to murder podcasts recently, and I can't make it through because they're like soothing. I listen to this one called Generation Y, and the guys that do it, their voices are like so soothing that I go to sleep, but I like haven't been able to get through this one about this guy who is like maybe the most prolific serial killer.
Mhm.
His name is like nicknamed him Dr. Death. Have you heard of this guy who just injected people with morphine and killed?
Damn.
Oh, I thought Dr. Death was that guy that would testify at trials in Texas for the death penalty. He was. was that
maybe
remember that?
there
I don't
there
remember
could be
this.
more than one. Like the dog
That's like
pack.
dog
I
pack
think
for sure.
it's just
Yeah,
been
yeah.
used multiple times. But this guy would like because he was a doctor and because he had so much morphine that he could just get his hands on. He would just kill people, and then he would kill their family members when they would be like, "Hey, stop giving him morphine." He'd be like, "You need morphine," and then he would over inject them. He killed. And this was through the 90s when in London, I guess, or like around like in Great Britain, like this guy killed like 200.
That's not a bad way to die.
That's
morphine?
true, morphine.
No, not at
Overdosing
all.
on opiates.
Just feel warm till you're dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I love
Was this guy a serial killer or just like an enabler? You know?
Well, he said his whole defense, I guess, when I haven't made it through the podcast, but his whole defense, I guess, at the end was that he was just helping people like end their life peacefully. But then he did it to a lot of people that like weren't dying. He like convinced a guy that he had cancer who didn't. And it's just like, yeah, it was.
Was he British?
Yeah.
I think the biggest torture is having to like listen to his dumbass voice as you die. Dumbass British people.
Do you hate a British accent?
Apparently, I guess.
My God.
I decided to take a hard
I think
stance
most
there.
people really like it.
I guess I'm thinking of like Cockney, like
Yeah, there's
oh,
different kinds of.
It's so crazy how much hotter a guy can be if he has a stupid accent.
Oh, here I am.
Yeah. Oh, not
shit.
that.
Is
That's
this the one you
awful.
were thinking
great.
of in your head?
Definitely,
Okay.
definitely
people
not.
are flooding their cars right
God, there
now.
was someone recently who had that accent that was hanging around that I was just like, ugh, leave.
Oh, I know what
Go
you're talking about.
back. Go back. Yeah, I mean, does accents for girls too though? Like, can't you be tricked like by a cute British accent, or like an Australian?
Sometimes, I guess, yeah, any kind of novelty is. But that shit
yeah, I
wears
guess
off.
that's it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or like a woman with like one boob.
Mhm.
It's a novelty.
Yeah,
That'd be cool.
yeah. Groucho Marx
One
mask.
big one.
Yeah,
or-
one big one in the middle, like
Okay.
a
A woman wearing an
una.
"I'm with stupid" shirt.
Yeah,
Those
yeah.
kinds of things. She's got like one of those big foam rubber.
Yeah, yeah,
one
giant
fingers.
glasses that
Yeah,
don't have lenses.
An
or
air
whatever.
horn instead of a pussy. You know,
You have a podcast called Come Town.
I do.
Big fan.
Thanks, man.
Love Come Town.
Yeah, the first I ever heard of it was we were talking about Steve Harvey, and you said that they had some bit about Steve Harvey.
It was
I
that
can't
was
even
Racine
remember
was
it.
telling us about how like you guys talked about how Steve Harvey had all these insane bits. Like
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. I went back and I watched the Steve Harvey special recently, and like up front, I would like to say that like I like Steve Harvey.
Uh-huh.
I think his older shit. I think he's like a very good comedian.
Uh-huh.
He's like the only like real flaw with Steve Harvey now is that he's like kind of old and like nobody can really not become sort of I guess out of touch.
Yes.
You know, a little bit. But like his older stuff, there was sort of like a self-awareness there that like when paired with the giant suit made it's like he's very funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, his it was like in 2001 like doing that bit about send me to Iraq, I'll kill everyone. It's like the women and
So
children.
insane.
Yeah.
Wait, what was the line though? There was some line that he
Something
said
about
that you
kids.
guys.
Now I can't remember.
Steve done shot the baby.
That was it.
That's his line.
That was it.
That's what he and he is. If that bit resurfaced, could that like take him down?
No,
now?
because it's really funny.
I think
mean,
he's
you
untouchable.
watch him do it. Yeah, you watch him do it, and you're like, he knows what he's saying is wrong. I mean,
Right.
in any way that any kind of like.
That's so funny because I picture him as this like super clean,
Yeah.
like
yeah.
not saying anything to shake the boat comic, and then that's the most insane thing you can say.
I love it, dude.
Kill
I
the
love that
babies.
Were you a fan of Bill Cosby?
No, not really.
Ever?
Only recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never was either, and I felt like I could never say that because you watch the documentary Comedian and like Chris Rock's talking about he did 3 hours, Jerry, killer shit.
Oh, I think about that all.
Killer
That
shit.
Killer
Yeah.
shit. Next
Different,
level.
like next level, and
Yeah.
Jerry's just like, whoa.
I mean,
And I
like
just,
that's the thing. I think because I guess we probably all started around the same time. Is like the guys that you look at 10 years ago, 15 years ago, whenever you got into were guys like Chris Rock or Seinfeld or
yeah.
Patton or whoever, and like so you see them talk about Cosby that way, but it's like Cosby was already kind of like anachronistic almost. Like by the time I was doing stand up, like I didn't have an interest in like a 70-year-old Bill Cosby.
Yeah, no.
And so there's no, I mean, I'm sure there's like a lineage of influence you can trace, but yeah, it's like Lenny Bruce. Like the amount of times I've pretended to like Lenny Bruce.
I know it's exhausting.
Yeah.
I don't want to pretend like I like people anymore that I don't
Yeah.
like. I haven't seen enough Richard Pryor. Are you like a huge fan of him?
Pryor's
Pryor's-
very
I
funny.
think
What
he
should I
holds up 'cause
watch?
he's
I'm
crazy.
embarrassed to admit that.
I mean, Sunset's a great special.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah,
do
I was
it.
just talking with somebody last night. Is like you don't see the guys that think they're Bill Hicks anymore.
Oh,
That
yeah.
used to be, that used to be
Yeah, that's
huge.
faded out.
Yeah.
Even like
Everyone-
5 years ago, that was something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's finally.
Who is
fading
everyone
out.
trying to sound like right now?
I think Kyle Kinane is one.
You
big
see
time.
that a
That
lot.
was-
There's a lot of Cananes, but I guess like
You see that on the road more. Yeah.
Louis kind of like changed the way people approach comedy. So there's so many people doing some like.
He's hard to rip off though. You don't see a lot where
Nah,
like
because the ripoff is so ubiquitous that's like you don't even
you
like
don't
pick
even
up
notice
on
it now.
It's a combination. Honestly, it's a combination of like you go to any open mic, it's a combination of like Louis' stuff, and then I really think like those like Seth Rogen movies from like all the Apatow Seth Rogen movies from like 10 years ago, trying to change the way people like talk. They're like I'm like dumb, I guess. Like this like it's like you're discovering how much of a piece of shit you are.
Right.
Sort of thing that people do on stage. I see that pretty often, but yeah, that's everywhere.
Have you ever sounded like anyone or like tried to mimic people?
Not consciously, but
Right.
and it's always been like other people I do comedy with. It's
Yes,
never
me too.
Yeah,
Oh, interesting. So it wasn't like a big guy that you looked up to, and then
No, yeah, it was like friends.
And that
Yeah.
sucks. But I have the similar thing because I sounded like my friends in high school. We all talked the same and had the same inflections and the same sense of humor. And then I sounded like my friend Lizzie Cooperman when I was in LA when I first started there. And it was bad because someone told her at an open mic, saw me and then told her, she's my best friend at the time,
yeah,
that Nikki's ripping you off on stage. Didn't do her joke, just like sounded like her.
yeah.
And I would find myself sounding like her and be like, oh no, I have to stop that. But you can't help
Yeah.
it.
I
You
think a
spend
lot of
of
people
time
do
with
that.
people,
I feel like
and you don't have a sense of identity yourself. You're like clinging to whatever
sure.
Yeah.
person you admire.
I mean, and sometimes you just say like words a little differently because you've been around somebody too long. Like I feel
Yeah.
like sometimes when we hang out like for a long time in a row, we'll say things on stage that are like a phrase that you would like shorten things.
Yes.
Well,
I
it's
definitely
'cause-
can't watch you too much because I will be up there and I'll be like, oh, that sounds like Tom, which actually works because they're already like, they just heard you for a half hour, so it kind of fits that I would say some of the kind of similar things you say and
And
do
sometimes
all
I'll
your
just
bits.
do one of your bits because
Yeah.
I know you're not watching, and then you do it and you look stupid.
Sometimes I put on a Steve Harvey suit and I go up in blackface and I do
But yeah, I watched.
classic.
I had to watch some like
I'm gonna shoot the.
you could get away with that. I don't know that anyone. would
Yeah,
remember
yeah,
that
I
bit.
probably could. There'd probably be zero consequences for me doing that.
Yeah.
That'd probably be really chill and wouldn't,
I watched.
get me in trouble in any way.
I'll sound like Rachel Feinstein a lot if I watch her too much because I love her too much, and she has like a very way of talking. Where I said last night, I said deep, like she'll describe someone as a deep moron all the time, and the word deep is so funny that I'll just find myself using it, and I go, that's ripping off. I can't do that. And then another I watched an old Tonight Show that I did because I was forced to watch it because they were screening it, and I was just like, oh dear God, you were watching Amy way too much during this time. So like when people are like, you're like Schumer but not as good, I'm like, yeah, you're right. You were right at that point to say that. Oh God damn it, what was I? Oh, a lot of people often sound like Attell. Is what everyone's accused of.
Oh, that was like. Definitely, if you were like a guy doing comedy on the East Coast like 10 years ago.
I
everyone
think on the
sounded
road
like
too. I think that Skanks for the Memories infected a lot of fucking
Yeah.
comics.
Yes.
I see people still doing that. Like people who have been doing the road for a long time, they're still doing Attell.
I once stole a line from a friend of mine and didn't know, and like did it on stage in front of her, and it was very awkward for her to have to tell me.
Do you remember who it was?
Oh yeah,
You care?
Ali Wong.
Oh shit.
So like I saw her
your
perform.
Your whole big bit about being Asian.
and having a baby. You said, I'm a baby cobra.
I was at the cellar and she was watching me and I did this bit, and you know what? Like this happens a lot, and that's why people go like, Amy Schumer stole a joke, or people accuse people of stealing jokes. It's like you don't steal it intentionally. It just kind of like is in your head and you don't know where you heard it, and then you say it because you're like, I think this is original.
Yeah.
I'm preaching to the choir. You guys know exactly the feeling I'm
There's
talking
very few
about.
people that intentionally steal jokes.
Yes, and you don't last
they
if you're
all
one of those people.
live in San Antonio. Every single one of them.
But I got off stage and she was like, I think we came up with the same joke. I'm like, I think she gave me the benefit of the doubt that it was parallel thought. And I go, no, Allie, I didn't know where that came from. And now I do. I definitely saw you do it. And I just did it. So you have to get rid of it. It sucks. And she took it like a champ. we'll be right back with more with Nick Mullen. Will you stick around?
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. You're listening to You Up with Nikki Glazer on Comedy Central Radio, Sirius XM.